workers aren't able to stand up to themselves and get a proper slice of the wealth they create. It's led to a lot of debt in the economy instead to keep up people's living standards. The housing crisis, flogging up council housing, was popular for many people at the time.
It would work fine if successive subsequent governments would have built more new council houses.
4 out of 10 of those sold off are now rented out by private landlords, charging twice the rent, and it's caused a massive housing crisis. We could go on, the inequality. I didn't even say
so.
Take
am
energy.
I guessing villain for you then?
Privatised energy.
Just about.
Privatising energy and other utilities and the disaster that's caused.
My old man was a union man, but I did ask him, like, at that period where Thatcher came in, what was the mood? You were in the trade union movement, and he said, look, she went too far, but there was an issue with the power of the unions. It was holding Britain back. And let's remember, at the end of the 70s, Britain was the sick man of Europe. So did she go too far, too fast? Arguably, but we couldn't carry on like we were.
But you say that. The average growth in the 1980s of the economy was the same as the 1970s.
What was the inflation?
In the 1990s, well, yeah.
Inflation went down under Margaret
Inflation
Thatcher.
went up in Britain and elsewhere because for a start, we had the oil shock of the early 70s. That's what triggered much of the inflation in the first place. But what happened is, what she did was create a Britain where we had less growth. Every decade since, we had lower and lower growth than the Britain she built, but the lower growth was less equitably distributed. That growth ended up in the bank accounts of a few. The best decade for growth was the 1960s, and then we had strong trade unions, nationalisation, high taxes on the rich.